This isn't what I normally start with my updates, but since this was actually a check-in posing practice that I did right before this week, I wanted to kind of show you where I was at as far as an off season. This is at the end of week 29, I would say. And of course, I have quite a layer of body fat as far as being in an off season, but I wanted to normalize it a little bit more since people don't really show this part. This is actually very healthy, normal weight for the average person. As you can see, I do have some weak areas, of course, being the glutes and everything that I'm trying to work on according to my back as much as it will let me cooperate. So I just want to kind of show this because I actually had this video on here. Off season's where the magic happens, guys. It really is. So this is a normal, healthy, functioning body. And a little cheat meal I had to share. My husband made some great Spanish. Our Grow Life Church new sermon series is so awesome. Hello, YouTube. I wanted to try and do a little bit of an update. I just practically woke up, so I sound pretty groggy. I'm going to the gym this morning, so I thought this would be a little opportunity to just touch base and see how things are going. I can't believe it's already been almost a month since my last update, which is crazy. Like, time just flies, especially when you're older. I tell you, it's tough. But nonetheless, I seem to always talk on the car because I'll be honest with you, sometimes I don't have a whole lot of time to sit and journal and do these things with life. I work full time for the Beat Childhood Cancer Foundation, and I'm the operations director, and so I have a full plate, and my son is back in school. He's a senior in high school this year. He's my youngest, and I'll tell you, this has been the best year ever. This is the first year he didn't have anxiety about starting school or anxious about anything or hating school or anything like that. And I'm like, thank you, God. Like, thank you. And he's just not a fan of school. He just doesn't like it. But he's also, I mean, he's a social kid, you know, but he's also a bit of an introvert, and he gets, you know, he doesn't like uncomfortable situations. I honestly, I can't even pinpoint my son anymore, but I think there's a certain amount of maturity, like when you can start growing out of different things, and I think he's gotten to that point, which is great. I can see where he's going in life, and he isn't as annoyed by me all the time, which is progress. So I tell you, I pray about him all the time. He's the opposite personality as my daughter. My daughter, you know, I had a period of time when she was, you know, 10th grade, you know, around that time frame where she didn't want to talk to us. She was in her room all the time. She didn't, you know, I missed my daughter. Like, I couldn't even recognize like what was happening and stuff. And I tell you, hormones play a big role in this, but also externals, the outside world and everything too. And I would say it was a tough period, and she came out of it, and it was just great. She just started progressing a little bit more, you know, she started getting involved more at school, she started doing this and that, and then she was just like, Mom, I want to find a new church home. I want us to go to a new church. And at the time, you know, we were a part of this really big church, and it was just too big for us. And so we would just like watch, you know, sermons from home and everything, but we weren't involved in anything. And so she really wanted to do this. And I know she was still kind of navigating life and who she was and everything. So I said, absolutely, I'm excited to do that. So I went online, I Googled churches near me, and Grow Life Church came up, and I was like, man, let's try this out. And at the time, they were just in the elementary school that was nearby, and I was like, let's go. That sounds like a really good size. You know, it's not a big church. You know, I think this would be good. And just looking at their website, they had all these programs for kids, you know, for kids and teens. And they really, you could tell that was like a big part of their function, you know, like they cared a lot about the next generation. That alone, I was like, let's go. I want to check this out. And so her and I went one Sunday. We were greeted by the awesome people there, and it was just, it felt like home. It felt like home. Pastor was great. He's young. He's on the younger side. You know, he's dad with kids, and he's just so relatable to this kind of like generations that we are in. And it just, everything he said just hit, and everyone there was just wonderful, and nobody was pushy or judgmental or anything like that. And so we started going every Sunday. Her and I started going, and then we found that they had Wednesday nights. It was called like the Shift, which is like youth group, and she wanted to go to it. And so at this time she was 15, almost 16, but she still hadn't had her license, her driver's license yet, or her permit, I think. But she was like, I want to go to that. And that just surprised me, because she's very shy and reserved, and she would know nobody going to this. And I didn't, you know, she's brought it up. I didn't push it. And I said, okay. So I would drive her. They would meet sometimes in Dade City, all the way in Dade City. So I would drive her there. And I was just like, I just want to let you know how proud I am of you, just stepping out of your comfort zone and going to this. And she went, and she loved it. She was just scooped up, open arms. There was a the leader there, Bailey, who just scooped her up and, you know, loved on her and cared for her, and that made all the difference. And so it was great. And from there, she went every Wednesday, and she just started walking closer with God and learning about Him and how much He loves her and the person she is, and she's got all these gifts, and it just took off from there. Like my daughter, she goes to the college there. They have a satellite campus for SEU. She goes to the college there. She goes on their mission trips. She's part of the leadership team, and now she's one of the leaders for the middle school girls of that youth group. And so she just feels like this is where she's meant to be. She met her boyfriend there that she's dating, and he's a great kid, and I couldn't be more excited and happy. So it's just an example of how you can go from, you know, worrying about your child, and they're in this dark place, and it's like you feel so completely out of control, like you don't know what to do, you know. But I just kept praying over her. I just kept praying, and just God works. he works. And so I just want to tell my parents out there, he works and he hears your prayers, and he's working everything out. I know my daughter, he had a plan for her. Everything happened in the right time for her. My son, he's definitely getting there. I can see it. And, you know, it's his timing for him, you know, and I can't tell you how less stressed I am about life and everything with my kids over that. So it's huge. And I'm just like, God, I'm sorry I ever doubted, you know, like, give it to him. It'll all come together. It'll all work out. So this is honestly the first year in like 12 years or so that I wasn't completely stressed or worried for my kids in school and in their life. Yeah, so time goes by so fast, and it's really a waste to really drown yourself in that. And I know it's easier said than done, but it's true. It's true. Don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow has enough worry of its own. So anyway, for my updates for training, I started some new breathing exercises and warm-up exercises with Dr. Shannon Russell, and she is awesome. I'm trying to get the breathing exercises down. There's one that's really hard for me to do, but I actually have them saved. If you guys want to take a look in my, I think it's called PT folder, of all the PT exercises that I've done or am currently doing from her. And it's really good, because I can tell you this week is when I started those warm-up exercises and everything. And Monday I did legs, and I could do close stance squats, like full range, no issues, no back pulling. It was so cool. I was like, it's a miracle. This is awesome. And now I'm like confirmed, like, you know, I haven't been crazy with my training. I haven't been crazy. I have been limited. My glutes haven't been firing because my limited range of motion due to the hip shifting and everything going on with that. So yesterday I did legs again, and it was more, I did some more wide stance squats, and again, that did great. I did notice all the exercises I did, which was single leg press, wide stance, squats. I used the belt machine. That my right glute wasn't firing like my left. And so I know that's, I'll have to update her with that, because she wanted to see how I would do with the exercises this week. So I'll update her with that, but that she said that would probably occur, but that doesn't mean anything. She's just teaching my body to be able to shift back and forth and everything. So not too worried about that. I had a little hard with doing reverse hypers yesterday. I feel like I'm pulling up with my low back instead of my glutes in a way. I mean, you're supposed to get low back. It's a low back exercise, but I think it was, I don't know, just something didn't really click. I have a short torso, so I think that's playing a role too, that I have to watch that and do it just right. More glute squeeze kind of thing. So anyways, trying to make this a little faster here for you guys. If you made it this far, please comment, Yvette, you're not crazy and you're doing great. Just kidding. No, but really, if you want to comment, like, I would love to do more videos of like topics and ideas, you know, that anything that you guys would want to know or curious about, or just anything, you know. I would love if you guys could just comment and let me know. Um, I think it's helpful to get some feedback, just so I'm just not like jumping on here and rambling all the time. It would be awesome to hear from you guys and talk about some interesting things, you know, anything that's helpful. I mean, I'm not an expert with anything, but sure as heck have been doing this a long time, and I can just speak from my experience, what's helped, what hasn't helped, you know, and that sort of thing. But everything's trucking along. My mood, everything's been going great. Energy's been good. I've actually been able to drink coffee again without that, you know, weird, crazy feeling. So that's awesome. I still take all my supplements except for all the tinctures. I'm not, for my holistic doctor, I'm not on any other tinctures anymore. I just take the thyroid balance supplement and the histamines and the adrenals. That's the only thing I take from them. So, and then I'll have to do that, an episode of just all the supplements I take. Some, you know, it's kind of crazy, but it helps. So maybe I'll do that next time. I'll do a supplement episode and just talk about what I use. So, yep. I think that's all I'll say for now. I don't want to hold you guys up too much longer. I appreciate you guys listening and following along, and it's nice to journal a lot of this and put it out there, so I can also look back to remember where I was at that time, what worked, what didn't, you know, just by talking here too. So, you know, so you guys truly have a great day and give your worries to God. Seriously. Bye. Okay, so quick snippet. I'm leaving the gym right now. I can't work out in the mornings anymore. I can maybe just do some cardio or something, but it just, my body is just, can't get with it first thing in the morning. I have to go to the bathroom too much, so my bladder is like so much more in the morning on. Granted, some of that is a little bit of the coffee, but at the same time, I do drink a lot of fluids and stuff during my workout and before I work out. And so I think it's just a lot at once. And I just peter out so fast. And like, I didn't even get to do abs part of my workout. I'm just going to do it tonight at home because it doesn't require equipment. But you know, this is a point I want to make, is that you really need to go by your body and, of course, your schedule the best you can, but just to go by your body as far as when's the most optimal time. And for me, it's still going to be the evenings because I have a full day. I get everything in. And plus in the morning, like, my mind, as you guys can tell probably, is all over the place. Like, I've got so many thoughts going on and like to-dos and everything that I think also I don't focus enough on the task at hand. And so my workouts tend to take longer. I mean, granted, my Friday workouts are a little bit more volume for my back. But I think my brain is just too much all over the place in the mornings. I need to stick with evenings because now I'm super tired, super zapped, super hungry and depleted. And I was working out a long time. So just wanted to share that. Here's some gym footage. I've always had the hardest time with close stand squats. And since starting the new PT work, I was filming this and I could not believe how I could have such full range of motion doing these without any issues. I mean, my back wasn't pulling. I could do this with ease, and I can't even tell you how crazy of a difference it is for me. I never knew I was so constricted. and that's why my back would constantly pull. And so some of this new corrective exercises I'll show you shortly has really helped. Here's one of the new corrective exercises, and it's quite helpful. I found that doing these is a part of the routine is been great. These are actually called yielding skater drop catches, and if you see my shorts, my short video, I do show it here as well, and it's crazy how much I feel the difference. I mean, it's helping the hip shifting, and everything. It's just teaching your body how to properly load, and we want the glutes to fire on and not the lower back. You know what I'm saying? So these have been great. All right, here I'm doing wide stance squats on the belt squat, and I really, again, couldn't believe the difference. Now this day I noticed that my right glute wasn't really firing on as much as my left now. And my PT said that could happen, and it's not a big deal. We're still making progress. But it can be frustrating because now I'm really in tune to it, and I'm like, what's going on? But it's a process. So, but still, these felt great, amazing. I couldn't believe how upright I could stay doing this and really hitting the glutes. So I successfully did close stance squats and wide stance squats. Full range of motion without issue. That's definitely progress in my book. So the same day I was doing some low back, like cable pull throughs, and I've kind of always mentioned that it was like kind of pulling on my back a little bit, but we just kept really lightweight. And then reverse hypers was on the chopping block, and I don't know if anyone else can see it, but I was really pulling more, I think, with my low back in this, and kind of ended up shifting my sacrum over to the left again. I really don't know how. I mean, I went super light. One thing I love about a Saturday morning is all the goods right here. Just a quick breakfast. Got some egg whites and cauliflower, oats, some Greek yogurt, hydration, caffeine, and journaling. Yes. And my check-ins to complete the week. Again, off season, I'm about 129 pounds now, and I'm about 5'4". So coming down a little bit, shaping up, keeping cheat meals very minimal. Have a great week, everybody. Until next time, keep faith.